Hi, thank you for watching. This is just a few psychic predictions, a few things that I have seen, a few things I wanted to share with you. This is not in any way doom and gloom. For what it's worth, as we go forward, I just see people smiling and people look very happy. So please don't see this as a bad thing in any way, shape, or form. What I do feel, what I felt for a long while, is this is just a massive debt reset for a lot of people. A lot of people, as you know, was sort of muddling on trying to cope with massive mortgages and car payments and iPhone payments and internet payments and everything else, that is just creating this massive burden on people that is just incredibly difficult to deal with. And people were also feeling that they needed to be at work all the time. They couldn't have any time off. It was just creating more debt, more problems that they was just struggling with. And I also think there was far too many people sort of living beyond the means. If they actually sat down and sort of worked everything out, then the money that they was bringing home really wasn't coping in any way, shape or form for maybe the lifestyle that they was leading. And we hear many a time about people just whacking Christmas on a credit card, and then we get to next Christmas and obviously the debt from last year hasn't even been paid. We're just sort of putting more onto that, and a lot of people live some illusion of wealth, that they look all right, but you get down to the nitty gritty of it, then people aren't doing maybe anywhere near as great as they should be or would like to be. And same for the companies. There's far too many companies, as you know, that have just a lot of debt piled up, a lot of loans, a lot of credit, a lot of borrowing, a lot of like propping things up really, that again doesn't work and isn't sustainable. And a lot of companies don't make even anywhere near the amount of money that you think they make. And to break it all down with the overheads and minimum wages and the insurance and everything, again, just doesn't work. So this is what this is doing. It's just sort of resetting a little bit. Okay, so even though like there's going to go into a massive unemployment, um, it's a good thing. So what I see for going further down the road is a lot of people maybe just letting go of mortgages, that it is maybe going to be too hard to maybe cope with the mortgage and the debt if you're unemployed. I think there's going to be a lot of houses coming up for sale. I think there's going to be a good drop of maybe 50% on houses, but I don't think anybody else buys them, strangely enough, because I think again there's too many people unemployed, that they maybe there's not many people to buy them, and also they don't know where the bottom is. So say like a house price drop from maybe 200,000 to 100,000, nobody will buy 100,000, because is it going to go to 20,000 or 10,000 even? So I just think there's a lot of houses lie there, and I think maybe people aren't in a position to buy them. And again, where's the bottom on this? Okay, so I also think that people will buy stuff cash. I don't think many people will get mortgages. What I do see is, again, I think people will move out of their houses. If they've got any equity in them, then that's all good and they have, some money. If they don't, then I see them bailing anyway, because I think it would be better to bail rather than to go into more negative equity and more debt. I do think that the people who maybe do have a house would interview another couple for to go and live in that house with them to help. So, for example, say you've got a couple who have a house and they have a baby. I think they would interview maybe another couple who's got similarly a baby, who would go and live with them. Therefore, obviously, this is half the bills. Therefore, this is help around the house. Therefore, this is help cleaning. And I do think people will sort of join together that way. Also, maybe if you've got a big house, then maybe you would take 3 or 4 couples or families. They would pile in with you. I know this sounds really stupid, but this is what I could see, because I think it helps people to create more money for themselves, more savings, because obviously somebody else is there paying half the bills for you. For the people who've moved into those places, again, it is like help. it is like help financially, because obviously you're not paying that family an awful lot of money. Also, it gives you a chance to save up and get straight, and maybe again look for more employment or to get yourself in a better financial position. Two, it's like, that's why I see people smiling, because I think it's like they don't feel the stress anymore and they don't feel the worry anymore, and it's not some big weight on this couple trying to pay the mortgage. It's more like the other people are there and they're just smiling, they're just happy, and it's more like a fun, you know, whereas normally maybe the man would sit down and watch football on his own. If there's other couples there, he's got other men to sit and chat to. It's not as, I don't want to say depression goes and anxiety goes, and all the things maybe people did feel before with all the weight again is gone. What else do I see? I think again, going back to people sort of letting go of flats of houses and all the rest of it, I do see people moving into farms, strangely enough. Don't know why I see that. Don't know whether it's because of civil unrest in the towns that maybe people move out to the farmlands. The farmlands, I don't know whether, again, this is because of, there is definitely rising prices, and there's no question about that. And I don't know whether the farms can maybe not sell as much because things are just going crazy and nobody's buying them anymore, or the farms are struggling because maybe they've got cattle and maybe again nobody's buying them anymore, or people are employed, people can't afford the beef or the pot, whatever this is. So I do think the farms let sort of campers go there. Now from these campers, this is good because these people sort of pay a bit of money to the farm. These people sort of help round the farm, and this is helpful to the farmer. And again, I see caravans there, I see tents there, I see this as more like a community sort of feel, you know, like, and it sounds stupid, but I think, you know, when you see like communes and stuff, where people are sort of singing around the campfires, that's what I see, more of a community sort of feel, if you will, where one person maybe sews and mends the clothes or makes the clothes, one person's maybe, well, not one person, but there's a team of people cooking, there's other people maybe mending things. There's also tables in front of this, and I think people sort of sell and barter and trade a little bit with what they have as well. Again, this is not necessarily for years and years and years, but it is definitely, again, I think something that people do, because for one, they feel safer in these groups at these farms. For two, the farms feel good that these people are there on the properties, and again, it's sort of helping them feel safer. They're not feeling as vulnerable on their own. These people again help round the farms or with the crops or whatever, so that's all good. And for two, that person is obviously not on their own in a flat feeling vulnerable. The reason why they come out of towns could just be again because of looting, because of civil unrest. That's only a reason why that people move to these farms and people go and sort of set up camp there. And again, I just feel it's more of a community spirit, and again, I feel that people feel safer being there together, if that makes any sense to you. Also, here in the UK, I can see bread going to £3.40 a loaf. At the moment, it is currently £1.50. I also think, because of this prices rising and this hyperinflation, I do think that people will cut back, because where maybe before they would have had a trolley and they would have thrown biscuits and sweets and cake and beer and all sort of stuff into these trolleys, if you will, I do think people will cut back and just go to more essentials. From the essentials, I do think that a lot of supermarkets will close. I do think, especially places where it's a massive, massive big complex, I do think it will just be too high for people to be able to spend that sort of money. So I think it will maybe go back to smaller shops that maybe stock like a few essentials and that sort of thing. And I think the massive rents on the big places will close. But again, don't know how far I'm going down the line here. And also because of civil unrest and because of people just stealing, because of people just going in and helping themselves, I just think it will be incredibly difficult for these supermarkets to manage all this. I think staff will be scared of all this, and again, hence why I do think we will perhaps go back to smaller shops, or things will just be delivered. From the things being delivered, I do see that more like maybe like canned meats or corned beef or tin like beef or something, and I think from that people will just use their own vegetables and their own stuff in the garden and sort of make do and work that way, if you will. Okay. What else? I see like I can see tape across like the petrol stations, you know, where you have the pump, there's like tape across it that you can't use the pumps anymore. I don't know why I can see that. I don't know where, again, whether it's just a temporary thing or something is going to last quite a long while. But there, I don't see petrol, and again, I don't know whether that's a temporary thing. Strangely enough, I keep seeing horses and carts, and I know that sounds so bleeding stupid, but I don't know whether, again, if we go into an economy that people don't know how to fix the cars, they can't mend the cars, people haven't maybe got that sort of skill set, and also maybe again if people are employed they can't afford to maybe go to the garages to get the cars fixed. So I do think it is possible that maybe people just let the cars go. Maybe that's why I see the horse and carts, and I know that sounds really again stupid, but that's what I see. I don't know whether people rent this, and again that sounds really stupid, but I don't know whether people maybe rent these horses and carts to maybe go and do the shopping, and that's what people sort of use from somebody from a nearby farm to maybe go and get a few essentials. Again, I don't know whether there is no taxes or people can't afford to use the taxis, or again people cannot just mend them, or again that's just rising prices of petrol. I don't know, and I don't know how long it lasts, but I do think in some areas certainly that we go back to horses and carts, because again the horse does not need an MOT, the horse does not need insurance, the horse isn't really broken, it does not need somebody to fix it, there is not something gone wrong with it, it's not costing hundreds of pounds in a garage to get right. I do think that we see more of that, but again, I don't know whether again that is just in certain countries or again that is just in certain areas, who knows. Anyway, I think that's all I see for now. Oh, there is a war as well, but I don't think the war lasts a long while. I think the war is possibly 6 months. I think as well it is just something that is over fairly quickly, because I think every country is so battered and struggling, unemployment and empty shopping centres and empty shops, and I think there's so many problems that people don't need another nail, you know, in their depression or their anxiety. They don't need to be pushed over the edge. I think people are dealing with enough, and I think it is too much that that's added into the equation. So I do think it's over fairly quickly. I think agreements have sort of come to, so please don't worry about that. And again, for what I see, people are smiling, people are happier, people are fine, people are not living in the town anymore, people aren't struggling anymore with massive debts and problems. That is gone. People are happy being in the little communities, people are happier sort of living together. Certainly the same with hotels, it is certainly the same with that. I could certainly see that people maybe rent the rooms, people live together. It's more, like I say, a community spirit is what I feel, that people help each other. But again, this is a good thing, and people are happy and people are smiling, so please do not worry. And again, I don't know how many years we are off the economy's rebuilding, or how far we are off the sort of every country sort of remanufacturing and getting back to basics. But again, that could be quite a way down the line. Hope that was helpful. Please don't panic, everything's all good. If I feel any more updates, I will bring them to you as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye bye.